it's Gwen and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a delicious carrot cake. Let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is preheat the oven to 180 degrees. Then grab an oven-proof cake tin, just like the one I have here, and use a stick of butter to lightly grease the cake tin. Put the cake tin to one side, grab a large mixing bowl, and we'll begin measuring out ingredients.
For this recipe you'll need 450 millilitres of vegetable oil, 400 grams of plain flour, 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda, 550 grams of caster sugar, 4 eggs, a pinch of salt, a pinch of brown sugar, 2.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, 525 grams of carrots, 150 grams of walnuts, 200 grams of cream cheese, 100 grams of caster sugar and 100 grams of margarine.
Measure out 450 millilitres of vegetable oil and add this to the mixing bowl. Next, measure out 400 grams of plain flour and use a sieve to add this to the mixing bowl. Using a sieve just prevents any lumps from forming. Measure out 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda and add this to the mixture. Measure out 550 grams of caster sugar and add this to the mixture. Crack 5 eggs and add them to the mixture. And lastly, add 2.5 teaspoons of cinnamon and a pinch of salt. And you should be left with something like this. That looks pretty disgusting. Grab a large spoon and mix thoroughly until all the ingredients are well combined and there are no lumps. And you should be left with something like this. Next, put the mixture to one side and measure out 525 grams of carrots. Now we'll peel and grate the carrots. And you should be left with something like this. Add your grated carrot to the rest of your mixture and mix thoroughly. And you should be left with something like this. Measure out 150 grams of walnuts, chop into small pieces and add them to your mixture and mix thoroughly. you should be left with something like this. Next, we'll pour our mixture into the pre-greased cake tin. I've ended up with way more mixture than I thought, so I'm going to use 2 cake tins. And you should be left with something like this. Place your carrot cake or your carrot cakes in the oven for an hour and 15 minutes. If you need to check whether your cake's ready, you can do this by sticking a fork in it. If the fork comes out clean, the cake is ready to be taken out of the oven. While our carrot cake is in the oven, we'll make the icing. Grab another large mixing bowl and measure out 400 grams of cream cheese. Then add your cheese to the mixing bowl. Measure out 300 grams of icing sugar and add this to the cream cheese using a sieve. Clearly the sieve isn't going to work this time. But don't worry, mistakes like this are all just part of the creative process. Instead of using a sieve, we're just going to add the icing sugar and mix really carefully to ensure that no lumps form. And you should be left with something like this. Measure out 200 grams of margarine, add this to the cream cheese and icing, and again mix thoroughly. And you should be left with something like this. Place your icing in the fridge until your carrot cake's fully cooked and ready to ice. And when your carrot cake is cooked through, it should look something like this. Leave it to cool for about 15 minutes, then we'll add the icing. And once your cakes have had time to cool, remove them from the cake tin and place on a plate. And you should be left with something like this. They look so yummy. Grab the icing we prepared earlier and use a spoon to liberally ice each cake. And you should be left with something like this. Sprinkle the top of the cake with brown sugar. Then we'll use our remaining walnuts to decorate it. And your carrot cake is done. It looks delicious. Place your carrot cake in the fridge to allow the icing to set, then slice and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope your carrot cake, or carrot cakes as I ended up making, brings you lots of happiness. Don't forget to head over to the Autism First YouTube channel for more baking videos and lots of other fun things to do at home. See you soon! First, measure out 450, that was very Yorkshire. Excuse me. Uh-oh. Looks like we've had a bit of a disaster with the icing. That's not how it's supposed to go.